Hello and herzlich willkommen zum Auf Die Fresse, the WXW review podcast in English. I'm Ian Hamilton, joined once again by Mike Kilby. And Mike, guess we're both all in this week.
Me, you, and 60 odd, at least 60,000 others, I suppose, isn't it?
It was like literally the day we dropped the last episode. It's like, oh, breaking news. It's like, oh, well, yeah, no reason, no wonder people weren't listening to day one. We're all scraping around for AEW info, but there's been quite a few announcements of American companies heading over to Europe for the last few weeks. But yeah, guess may as well dive straight in. And the big one, at least, if you're a WXW fan, Game Changer Wrestling's coming to Oberhausen in September, part of World Tag Team Festival. We're doing two shows, long.live.gcw and GCW versus the World, Friday, September 22nd, Saturday, September 23rd, respectively. They just had a name change because I know when they first did the announcements, like just GCW in GCW in Germany and GCW versus Europe. They've just had a rebrand about 2 hours ago before we recorded. But yeah, basically going over Tag Festival, Long Live GCW, you can have to buy a separate ticket for regardless. Whereas if you have the festival pass, the GCW vs. World shows included. Friday night, you're looking 11:30 doors for midnight bell time, or just for midnight. GCW vs. World, it's 10:30 doors on Saturday for 11 p.m. I guess probably going for the rest of the line for Tag Festival. Like two late shows, it's not exactly new ground. I mean, you've done WXW2 with Progress when they've done the midnight shows, but
2 a.m.
I mean, it's weird because like normally may as well run through the festival stuff we've got so far. So this is reading off WXW sites. You've got obviously in a circle on the Thursday night, Tag Festival Night 1 starting 8 p.m. on the Friday, then GCW Friday night just for midnight. Femme Fatale 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, World Tag Festival 6 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and then the GCW vs. World 11 p.m. Saturday night. Then got to Wheel of Wrestling Sunday at 1, Tag Festival Night 3 at 5. So yeah, pretty much they've binned off a Saturday lunchtime show in favour of a late Saturday night show, which I guess kind of new ground for WXW, at least in terms of bumping up a festival weekend for visitors.
Yeah, I think I agree definitely in the sense of we're paying for WXW, not GCW. I don't go to, and admittedly, yes, there is probably an element of me. I am a tourist, and I go to Germany to go and watch the German contingent. I don't go to watch the imports in generally. Generally, they're not ones that I'm particularly that excited for. And GCW is not a promotion I know anything about, to be completely honest. I'm not going to pretend I know anything about it. I've not really got any interest in it. I think I've watched Bloodsport. Bloodsport is about the only thing I've ever watched. I do think they probably could have done a Bloodsport Ambition sort of show, but that's beside the point. But yeah, it's an interesting sort of format. I mean, I'm assuming the late night shows are because they're probably being streamed in America. Streamed for American audiences, should we say?
So basically, this is what was announced or advertised by WXW earlier. So you can hear my mouse scrolling. So the Friday night show, Long Live GCW, has been advertised as being on Fight Plus, where all the GCW stuff is. And also GCW vs. World, that's also got the Fight Plus thing. So yeah, both of those are going to be streaming live, assuming the Turbine Hall Internet copes with it. But yeah, you're looking 7 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern for those two shows. So both maybe a little bit early for the American audience, but slap banging prime viewing hours. So yeah, definitely they're being done late for at least for streaming. Also, I don't know if there's any restrictions because of the kind of product GCW sometimes puts on over death matches and what have you. Again, all we know is it's two GCW shows. We don't know if they're going to be doing. Was it over WrestleMania weekend? I know you're a totally wrong person to ask, but over WrestleMania weekend, they stayed away from death matches. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the same kind of thing, or at least if it was later on the weekend. I mean, especially if you've got no shows the next day, the last thing you want people to be doing is sweeping of glass, and then you've got no WXW stuff the next morning. But yeah, I mean, it's for me. because, no, it's not just because of the times. I probably won't be going to any of them unless there's something massive announced would make me, if it brought someone in who's just doing GCW and none of you shows, I'd probably go. But even the
It
one
would have
being
to be
like,
something special. I mean, I have to admit, I'm inclined. What I'm doing is with how many months of safety, I'm going, oh, I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. But I know for a fact, if I'm there, I'm probably going to think, I could sit in the bar or go to bed, or I could go watch a wrestling show. And probably the answer is going to be, I'm going to probably go and watch the wrestling show.
I
And
think the Friday night one, because that's starting. Okay, it's a late start, but there's nothing on the Saturday morning until
yeah,
femme fatale. There's no wrestling cult, so that's not going
yeah,
to be taking spot. I could see a lot of people in that mindset going, I know I'll have a late one Friday night, but I think the one maybe with dodgy again if you buy the whole packs would be the GCW versus the World.
yeah,
But again, as we keep saying, a lot of wrestling to happen. They've only announced for shows, no talent announced, no names announced for
yeah.
these.
They need
So,
to announce some people more than anything. It's
all GCW.
well, yeah, they need to announce people for GCW, and I, I know that there are some people who wrestle for GCW, so there's people who I would possibly suspect to be coming. There's people who I don't want to be coming over. That's for sure. Um, there's no doubt in that. But there's for me it's you just need to say, right, we've got XYZ coming, and when you announce two or three of the GCW guys, you can then sort of think, well, who are going to be the natural fits to go against them in the WXW roster? So then you kind of think, well, if somebody like Nick Wayne comes over, you maybe would probably position them to be fighting someone like Tihani, wouldn't you? Really, that would be the sort of clear thing. So,
And I guess the other question as well is if you are, because both these have been advertised as GCW shows, and none of these have been positioned as GCW versus WXW. And maybe, and again, plenty of water under the bridge to come. Would any of any of the GCW guys be appearing on that Wheel of Wrestling show? I think that's the kind of thing both parties got to be careful of. Like, do you not advertise either show? Because this year, the Wheel of Wrestling, which it was on the Sunday, they didn't announce any matches until people were leaving Saturday night's carrot. And I think it's the
yeah,
kind of thing where if you're looking for GCW to sell tickets and Wheel of Wrestling to sell tickets, what you don't want is both. Again, it's they're not going to be doing this. You don't want the view of, oh, we're playing chicken, or you announce first, or you announce first, and then it's just, no, well, here's your roster, and then you sat there waiting, well, I'm not going to do Stable 8 on Saturday night because X I might want to see Nick Wayne for argument's sake. Might be doing Wheel of Wrestling on the Sunday morning.
yeah. Nick Wayne's fighting Maggot on Sunday morning. Yeah. It's I don't think I'm as down on it as maybe other people are. I think that's for sure. But I also am very aware that I'm very ignorant of not WXW, of Game Changer Wrestling.
Yeah, get
That
off the
was the Freudian
podcast.
slip, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm very ignorant of Game Changer Wrestling. I don't really know about them apart from the fact that I think that they're the American version of Progress, which is your mileage will vary whether that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, like, there are some names, when you mentioned Nick Wayne, like, I know he's been on the UK a few times, but it's never worked out where I've been able to go and see. But I mean, if he's over and he's only doing one of those GCW shows, that's probably going to swing me. I'm being perfectly honest. There are also
Oh
names there. If
yeah, Nick
they're
Wayne.
advertised, I will be going. I'll be getting an early night. Simple as. So,
Well, yeah, you
um,
don't want someone like Schlack there. That's
yeah. And again, I mean, and I know Nick Gage, and obviously a few people, saying, "Oh, I hope he comes up." He didn't do the UK shows, and just I don't know anything, so this is just me, making light of stuff. But if I'm getting quizzed at Dusseldorf Airport for just coming over to watch wrestling and no record or anything like that, I don't exactly foresee, his high profile record that being an easy thing. I don't think he didn't do the UK shows last year, if I remember right. And plus he is winding down on GCW in general.
yeah, but Yeah, that's as I said. That's the ignorance I have. I know that Schlack wrestles for GCW. I know that Nick Wayne's wrestles for them. I know Matt Cardona and Bussy wrestle for them. That's all I know about GCW. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pretend to know.
Just looking, Nick Gage didn't do the last European tour. He was actually last over for 2010's Tomb to Death versus Gorefest, which for some reason doesn't list the venue, but it was in Oberhausen, so I guess we'd been with Steffi back then.
Yeah, well,
So,
as I said, it's
so keep an eye out. Obviously, plenty of names to be announced, plenty of potential matches we'll see as we go. But yeah, like I say, I'm a little nervous of being involved in Tagfest proper. Team name you even mentioned. I don't want to say it, monkey's paw kind of thing, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
the wonderful thing would be to say, right, we've got a GCW team and thing, but it's boisterous behaviour. It's Leon Slater and Doris. That'd be cracking, absolutely brilliant. Or if it's Nick Wayne and whoever his tag team partner is, brilliant.
Jordan Oliver, yeah, the East West, yeah.
If it's something like that, that's brilliant. And in a way, there is always a comedy team in the tournament, so maybe Bussy would work well for Tagfest, but it's kind of really speculative when it's announced, isn't it?
I think it's probably the kind of thing of we sometimes get the meme team, your Spirit Squad you had last year. But yeah, see who they do send.
Could we get Brian Myers and Matt Cardona?
It'd be something major, surely. Anyway, so there's names who we might want part of Tagfest, but the first team got announced earlier today, in fact, and it's one a lot of people have been asking for. We've got the astronauts coming over. Fuminori Abe with his regular tag partner in Japan, Takuya Nomura. And today, May 5th, they've passed a year as the reigning Big Japan Tag Champions. They've had 3 reigns of those belts over 700 days. I think Cheyenne, she got announced for Femme Fatale, so a tag team and an entry for Femme Fatale. I guess right now, things the single tickets went on sale for Tagfest early this week. I know it's ways out, but what's your thoughts on Tagfest like in terms of I would want maybe 1 or 2 more teams announced or more in terms of who you're buying, who you're going to see. But I'm definitely a lot more positive than I would have been 24 hours ago on a
Well,
weekend.
I think the astronauts announcement has been a very big. It's been a big bonus. I think there's a lot of people who've maybe it's the right sort of announcement to do now, because I think there's people who, for a variety of reasons, which we alluded to at the start, are spending a lot of money on traveling to wrestling in the next 3 months or so.
Yep.
And you need to announce the astronauts now because they need to budget going to London, and they maybe need to budget now they need to think, well, can I also do that? Or I'm not going to London, but astronauts, cracking, that's what we want. So
and it's got WWE VO2, obviously AEW at Wembley and Mace. There's a lot. No, it's the kind of thing. Got a lot of big weekenders coming up. If you want to form Progress Super Strong Style with less than half a field announced 3 weeks out. That's all I'm saying. But a lot of big weekenders just in the UK and obviously the Brexit late in the year. Someone's going to miss out, I feel.
Yeah, and I don't know if Wembley hadn't been announced, if Wembley hadn't have been a thing in the last couple of weeks, I don't know whether astronauts would have been announced this early. I have a feeling they've kind of had to, and it's very smart for them to do so. But if they hadn't have announced them now, they might have had a lot of people in 2 or 3 weeks or a month sort of time going, "Oh, I'd love to go, but it's a bit expensive to go because I've already paid for Wembley X, Y, Z."
Yep.
So, I mean, people have already paid for Wembley because they obviously have, but at least now they can sort of think, well, that's also a month later.
Yeah, you've got something to dip your hand in your pocket to, or try and work things out and make things
Put
stretch.
a little bit of money aside. Well, so I've already paid for Wembley. Let's put a little bit aside to go to that. So, yeah, I think it's a great a world class team for a World Tag Team League. It's truly a world class team. One of the I think those who know, I think they're arguably one of the best tag teams in the world. Definitely probably the best tag team in Japan. I'd sort of say at this point, really. It's you. The worry is always, it's now at a point where Abe is as much as part of the furniture as anybody else in WXW, and I kind of feel like if there was a weekender without him now, it would be. I think he'd be missed strongly. So yeah, it's delighted. I think a lot of people have always sort of asked for Nomura, and we finally got it going. And is this his first foray outside of Japan as well?
I believe it's Nomura's, yeah, and of course, per Irie, it's his. He's now looking for a new tag partner. If you go by, and actually,
sad message on Twitter.
And quick plug. We usually use the end of the show, but the same YouTube channel your Groundhoppers Guide of Arms on. Literally just now they've dropped Rihanna and Eddie React stuff. The astronauts against an astronauts match from October 2018. So Google that. There's a match you'll be able to watch. If you haven't seen them, that'll be something I'll be doing straight after this because I don't think I've seen an astronauts match. I've seen obviously a lot of Farbe, but
I watched the one against Strong BJ in middle of April. That was really good. Really, really good.
Plenty of time if you're not familiar, otherwise you'll be damn sure made familiar with before we get to the end of September. But we'll talk about CZW. They're not the only not the only American promotion coming over.
There. Come on.
Sorry?
Burying the lead there.
Yeah, not the only American promotion coming over. CZW's beaten the punch. They're heading over next month. We've announced 2 of you, but it's more. I think you said, was it like their roster training in Gelsenkirchen?
I get the impression, yeah, it seems to me to be more. We've got 12 guys or however many people coming over. We're going to stick them on the shows, and I don't foresee them doing a CZW show in Europe, but I mean they may well possibly, but
maybe something can be. I mean, so we've announced this. Yeah. It's called European Excursion. The post they've got, and these are going to be I'll be honest, these are just names I've seen a few of them wrestle. When I've been watching stuff online, but a lot of these to me are just names: Griffin McCoy, Aaron Ash, Matt Key, Vincenzo Tolotta, Mike Walker, Isaiah Wolf, Ruthless Lala, JC Storm, Richard King, Michael Mistretta, and Boom Harden. Now, I know there's one guy who's a CZW regular who has been in WXW, Jared Diaz. He did the wildcard Wheel of Wrestling over Tag Festival last year. Now we've announced no dates, and I would say if it's just them training and being farmed out to the shows, fair enough. But if you remember, CZW were meant to run in Frankfurt, November 2020. The WXW Now showcase over Coward Weekend 3 years ago. Yeah. There had been the date, the venue on the screen, and DJ High just completely balls it up. And of course, world lockdown with COVID. A lot's changed with CZW since then. I think they've been sold off, and certainly the title belts have been sold off. They're not running the usual venues. It's a lot smaller. I think, again, this is me tapping up the cage match right now. Like they're doing this. Almost dare say it's like what Progress is doing. Like
somebody bought the name.
Bought the name. We're running what we call Limelight. Seems to be like their regular shows. I mean, they restarted
in Belfast.
Say it again.
The nightclub.
Oh God! Yeah, we've been.
If you're a Belfast, you know.
We've been starting up like mostly out Blackwood, New Jersey. These Limelight shows, but we're keeping things up. Like we're doing, the anniversary shows. I think we're doing Best for Best late this month. I mean, look, some of the names you had up there. You've got like Alex Kane doing Best for Best, Fred Yehai, some WXW alumni there. O'Shea Edwards, Rich Swan. Yeah. So you've got a lot of names there who are not familiar. The problem with CZW is dare I say they've been almost enveloped by a game changer.
Yeah, it's that's exactly the thing really with GCW. I get the impression they've kind of taken a lot of that sort of fan away, really, haven't they?
I know there's that whole thing again. There's talk that CZW was going to be bought by Game Changer. That didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's a bunch more names coming over for experience. If they end up on a WXW show, great. If not, again, it's training's experience. Might see a few of them, dot around in Germany, dot around, or maybe even over here, depending on if dates line up. But yeah, again, it's experience, and especially right now with more and more shows seem to be popping up. It's all you can ask for, I guess, at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it was. I think when I first saw it happen, it was kind of like, oh, what's actually going on here? Are they? In my head, I saw CZW and I immediately had a negative reaction to it. But as I say, it's not the same company really now, is it? So
No.
it's
They are
it's
still doing the weird pay-per-views where it's like chopped up bits of old shows, which a little bit problematic if we've gone by some of the titles. But I think the new stuff now, as a pre-streaming network, like one of those newest streaming platforms we're on. I mean, I hear next to nothing about CZW these days. Like the pop on Cage Match, but like Game Changers got all the buzz. So I would say I'm not saying it's on these fellas to get the buzz back, but it's a long road back to where they once were, even pre-COVID, let alone the heights of the glory days.
Yeah, because they were kind of on life support in 2020, really, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you had was it Joe Gacy was the champion?
Well, all their guys got
never lost a
signed by
belt.
NXT, didn't they? And then yeah, pretty much struggled after that, didn't they? Yeah, it's yeah. For me, it seems to be more of a training excursion, and they'll probably chuck a few. They might do a few CZW matches on a few of the. I could see it going on some of the smaller shows, or maybe even like on one of the marquee events. Because I think there is one in that period, isn't there? One or two marquee events.
Yeah, the driver champions and then we've got Fight Rev as well. So yeah, there's a few easy spots.
They can chuck a few on there, or they can do a tag team match or something with somebody with two of them on there. Or, there's a lot of options there, I think.
Yeah. Moving on, just quick congratulations to Walter or Gunter, if you want to go by the WWE names. And Ginny, they got married in London last week, and we saw was Robert Dreisker posting a photo with not Kevin Owens on Twitter, and it's like, yeah, people going, okay, what's going on? I know he's posting stuff, going around Earl's Court, with a suitcase and all that, and then all the stuff leaked. Was it posted on Sunday night, wasn't it? From Walton, when he had the photo of all the WXW lads, past, present. Was it Mike Schwartz, Ilya, Oliver Carter?
It was like the photo of the gang on Auf Die Fresse standing outside the hut at the end of season 1. Yeah, it was. if you wanted to present like, oh, this is the consortium which is now running WXW in 10, 15 years, then I'll be very, very happy. That's
a lot of lads doing good there, and done good, I guess. But
I'm delighted to see everybody sort of back together in a way.
I think I think you pointed out Tim Thatcher, but when you're on the other side of the world wrestling for pro wrestling, it's kind of understandable. And
him and Axeman weren't there. Never mind.
And I guess we can move on to tracks, but I know Timo just won the Global Honored Crown Noah tag titles with Saxon Huxley, which there's a tag team we all expected. Tim Thatcher in NXT UK's Saxon Huxley, but I mean, last time Tim Thatcher was with someone with a really bad northern accent, he was taken forward with me. But moving on, you mentioned the Axeman. He's going to be out until late summer. He broke his collarbone at Progress last weekend. As part of an 8-man tag main event, him and Big Damo Sanity teaming with TK Cooper, Chuck Mambo, Sunshine Machine, up against Spike Gervais, Bullet, Nick Riley, Charlie Sterling. Headline there, Sean Manchester apparently got injured early on. They finished the match 4-3. He's had surgery. I think we said he's going to be out till late summer, of course. The remainder of the series with Peach Tahani, that's been rescheduled. Well, that does mean, for Peach Tahani, he's got a few different opponents. We'll obviously run down the cards a bit later on, but for Hamburg, it's now a non-title match against Shikahiro Irie. Reason why we'll explain in a second. LJ Cleary at Fan, and in London, we've got a rematch from Pro Wrestling Österreich. It's Peach Tahani against Michael Oku, which I'm really looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to it if I can get to that show.
Well, I don't want to say I hope you don't make it, but I also do hope Luton get them. That's there's only one way it's going to happen. It's almost like a mutually exclusive at this point, unless that's the main event and you don't go to penalties in the final. But...
Yes.
So, we mentioned, Shikahiro Irie against Tahani in Hamburg. What was Mike D? Well, Mike D apparently got injured at True Colors in Dresden last month. So, yeah, we just said now Irie against Mike Peter Tahani, non-title affair. Mike D and Irie is now going to be a Drive of Champions in June. Touch wood. Other injuries, we've got Trisha Dawes. She's had to cancel her upcoming tour of Europe due to injury. She was due to start at Fan later this month against Calypso. Maria De La Rosa is going to be filling in both against Calypso and against Charlie Morgan in London in 3 weeks. And there's a show that's really crept up on us.
Yeah, De La Rosa. De La Rosa. I'm actually very happy with that as a replacement. I think she's very quietly been quite impressive. I think Bioc actually had quite a good match on the Rev Pro card in Birmingham, I believe.
Yeah, we've had
There was a few
the
people
Will
say
Ospreay Tour de Force weekend.
Yeah, a few people were saying that there was actually quite a good sort of showing from her. So yeah, I'm actually quite happy to see De La Rosa in there.
And we'll swap these last 2 rounds. So WXW also announced this morning the sporting director concept's been binned off, citing an abusive recent sporting director, can't think who. So now the storyline structure is you can have an anonymous matchmaker and then a disciplinary panel when needed of the matchmaker, the managing director, I guess Felix Kohlenberg, and 3 random wrestlers decide on punishments if and when needed, which I don't know if your 3 random wrestlers could easily overrule the MD and Felix, which also Felix and the matchmaker. It's like, well, if it's at random, what if Amboss picked at random?
Yeah, that's the
like that's going to be the easy way out, surely.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's
Oh, Robert tries to attack somebody and he's not cleared. Oh no,
the arrows. The arrows on Roman think it's fine. So
yeah, he's learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, you can do the whole Fulham VFA. Oh no, it's a 10-match ban. What for? You proved I'm a referee. But and anyway, so that be something. Bye bye for sporting directors. So no one to replace Norman, Andy, Francis Caspin, Carsten Beck, CMJ. I've had a fair amount of those, but yeah, I think that's probably probably the whole authority figure thing probably run its course anyway. And again, it's not like the Shotgun Lottery being binned. It's not forever. If they feel like they've got something they can come back to, they probably will. But for now, yeah, ran its course and yeah, something different.
Yeah, I think they were possibly running out of people to really nominate. Really, there's somebody who I would have really liked to have been sporting director at one point, but I don't know how likely that is. So the person I always wanted was Melanie Gray. I think she would have been a brilliant sporting director, but I don't know.
I know she kind of did that thing for it was a Project Nova Mad Women's show they did last back in March.
Yeah, and she's sort of doing. The wrestling cult heads among you will obviously know this, but she is sort of doing it in cult. But it's. I think she would have been really good. She works very well on sort of backstage promo sort of stuff on the skits, and I think. But WXW is not really a skit-based promotion anymore, unfortunately. I mean, it's what we all fell in love with, really, wasn't it? But it's not. It's not really a thing that they do so much now. So yeah, bit of a shame.
A shame.
Really. Yeah.
And I guess, and finally, well, this isn't really well, terms that light-hearted enough. Who's taken a step back from wrestling? A few weeks back, they revealed they've been taken by surprise by this. For private reasons, who will no longer be in the ring for an indefinite period of time and is cancelling all of his bookings with immediate effect. They went to great pains to say that this ain't a storyline, so no, don't think it's for him taking time off and he's going to come back and attack Maggot at some point. I'm looking to think his last match, at least if cage match is anything to go by, would have been GWF about a month ago. Tim Chem Kaplan losing to Mike Chen, Ronald Shakiri. Obviously, the last match would have been that street fight in Frankfurt. Back end of March, he lost to Maggot. Yes, I mean that kind of came for blue because he's, I'd say, only just come back. And he was suspended for about a year or so from WXW. Coming out of COVID. Came back at Broken Rules last year, the June tapings, and then the tag festival run, and then the mini program with Maggot. So I know we said, keep them apart, but I don't think I was expecting like that.
Yeah, so it's a real shame, obviously, to lose him. I think, as we said, I think the ceiling's very, very high on Uhura. I think he can really throw out something great and incredible out of nothing. So yeah, this is a real shame, and kind of gutted to lose him. I think there's somebody that WCW do need in that sort of level. So yeah, it's a real shame, but obviously, if he needs to take his time to do whatever it is, or if something has happened, we obviously I'm not going to speculate, but
Yeah, just
yeah,
all the best for the
yeah,
future, no
all
matter
the
what
very best.
what's going
And
on.
if he does want to come back, or if he's ready to come back, then obviously go to see him when he does.
Yeah, all the best for who for whatever's going on, and yeah, if he does come back, I think we've plenty of us waiting to boo him or cheer him no matter what he wants. But so that's quite lengthy and a lot of injuries. But guess we're going to have to hop over to Japan quite quickly. Going to go back for Oscar Watch. We're just going to go for the singles matches because New Japan do plenty of undercard tags with the same results. Oscar's had two singles matches since we last checked in. One was televised on a Road to Wrestling on Taku show on Monday, May 1st, just gone. 10-minute time limit draw with Oleg Bolton, and things for the newest addition to the Young Lion group. It's a big bugger, is all I'm going to say. That Oleg Bolton is like from Kazakhstan and still becoming very highly rated in the freestyle world, even though he's not competed for a long while now.
He is actually
Um,
still ranked, isn't he?
yeah, even
He's
though he's no longer eligible, I guess,
and
since he's now contracted.
he's Asian. He was Asian champion. One of the most fascinating prospects, I think, in the world of wrestling. Really, and I say prospect, he is 30 at this point, but
Oh, bloody hell.
he's
Which
obviously
explains why we're trying to fast track him.
they do fast track him. I mean, a fascinating prospect, really, isn't he?
He's a
And
guy, sorry, I know he's a guy Yuji Nagata, paraded in front of a New Japan
yeah,
crowd, not too long ago. So he's not like he's been like signed and went straight in the ring, but he has been doing the whole dojo stuff for a while. But if there's a guy we're going to try and get up the card pretty quick, I think this is the one. At
yeah.
least based on his age and the real world credentials.
Did they not? I know you said we're not going to go into the tag team matches, but did they not do Bolton and Oscar as a tag team earlier? I
Uh,
could have
let
sworn I
me
saw it.
let me check. But while Cage Match Sloden's the other singles match Oscar had was this past Wednesday at Wrestling Dontaku. Wasn't streamed, but he beat Ryuhei Oiwa in 2 minutes 33 seconds. There's some weird pre-show thing with Oiwa where if he outlasted or won matches against other young lions, he gets like money, a TV title shot, and brings like 140,000 yen's worth of beef or something like that. Um, Oscar unfortunately meant Ryuhei's going to go without meat, so yeah, blame him. And now I've got Oscar's cage matchup.
Yeah, he wrestled against the United Empire. They both, as a team, wrestled against the United Empire. So
Yep, April 27 against Aaron Hanari and Great Khan.
get them as a tag team, lads. Come on, get them in for
I
tag league.
know Rev Pro's going to do Great British Tag League soon. Get them both over an excursion start. They'll be putting a few gotten to people.
Oh, although yeah, absolutely brilliant. That's a beefy team, isn't it?
It's a team I wouldn't want to bump into in a lit alleyway, let alone a dark alleyway.
I think you better fit in the lift with old Oleg Bolton, would you?
Yeah, that's probably more on me than him, to be honest. But anyway, move on to True Colors. The last, I don't even call them marquee events now because yeah,
That's a marquee event.
marquee event, of course,
Yeah,
from the Kraftwerk in Dresden, the site for Big Fan, and start the
we're big
pre-show.
fans of that
Jacob
venue.
Fan didn't move on, much like some of the crowd. Hey ho! Anyway, started with pre-show. Jacob Crane, Anil Marek. Of course, Anil's on a huge losing run. That continued here. Lost in just under 6 minutes. Match was fine, but the end was a bit weird. Marek looked to have hurt his shoulder, but he did an interview after the fact saying no, he's fine. Jacob Crane getting a rare win in WXW. Anil Marek still looking, and didn't they announce something with Marek? Um, I didn't see the promo, and I'm going to load this up now. So let's see. let's say I'll put it in subtitles. So I'm not breaking copyright or anything like that. I did something with Anil Marek and
Um,
let's see. So yeah, and Ilya Bloom. Okay, so I was doing train. Okay, I'm reading badly transcribed German subtitles. Um, yeah, looks like Anil Marek and LSG at fan, but that hasn't been announced. Yeah, so I don't think that's going to be the end of a losing streak if you're going against LSG on a big show. But yeah, see how it goes. I mean, I know you said this pre-show match. I mean, I liked it, but if you end was sweet. I think you liked it a bit more than I did, but more just for
I was
Jacob Crane actually getting stuff in.
I was quite impressed by it actually for what it was. I think I suppose I don't think that was announced. I don't think that was announced by the last show, but obviously Jacob Crane is now in Germany full time, isn't
Yep.
he? Or he's moving full time to the Frankfurt area. I can't remember exactly where, but Offenbach or something like that. Yeah, it was. I did actually quite like it because although Anil Marek kind of continued his sordid form, and let's say he's in worse form than Dragon was before he got put on the trial series. So I mean, come
Oh
on,
God, we're going to get Tim Thatch to beat him 5 times in a row.
yeah. So, but yeah, I think Jacob Crane, even Jacob Crane beats Anil Marek. I think that kind of says a lot, really, doesn't it? That's you
Yep.
got beaten by the bottom rung on the ladder, so not good, not a good performance for him.
Yeah, so looking at that, yeah, I'm just going through Jacob Crane's Twitch, and I think the stuff of relocation's been deleted. Probably smart, to be honest. But so yeah, Jacob Crane, latest blow to Anil Marek. Main show had Mike D beating Tristan Archer in just under 10 minutes. Apparently Mike D got injured in this match. Couldn't really see where, but that's put him out for Hamburg show next weekend. And it's another pretty high profile loss for Tristan Archer as well, who's nowhere near Anil's form, but not been that great since he lost the title, world title.
Yeah, it's not been. He's had some quite decent matches, but it's not really going well for him really at the moment, is it?
It's almost like the Axel Tischer always,
Yeah,
Bin Ryan having a really good match, but it's no in terms of the bigger picture, he's not. And again, I can't see him dropping into the shotgun division. I'm not saying like it's relegation or anything like that, but I can't see him being involved in the shotgun division. So this is kind of a spot. It's until he's back around the title picture, it's picking other people up.
yeah, he needs to. I'd like him to get into a bit of a tiff with someone like Jörn or something, someone who I know that was a lot of last year when for the title, but I mean they're both sort of I feel like at the same sort of level. Um, you just want Archer to. I think Archer just needs to get his teeth stuck into something because obviously when he's in the feud, I feel like he does do very well. He gets the promos tend to be quite good. He gets some quite good angles in, but I feel like he just needs something to get his teeth in, and at the moment he's kind of circling the drain, really, isn't he?
Next up, speaking of drains, Norman Harris beating Fast Time Mood or shade under 10 minutes. Um, I mean, obviously we're doing the whole thing now where Norman is, back to wrestling after he, barely did anything while he was the sporting director. I was surprised they booked this because I know they're still trying to keep Mudo, somewhat hot, and they were in East in terms of like Saxony, Mudo's home state. I know they're in Leipzig the next day where he got a bit more, but yeah, I'm surprised they put this one together, and yeah, House gets a win, but clearly building up for something. We've got the feud with Levine that's been kept on the back on the back burner. And of course that whole thing with Metahan, the whole mysterious contract for title shot that does just come out of thin air. But anything tried for Norman House Mudo match that you were hoping maybe used in London?
Not really. I it was they're not my two favorite wrestlers in the world, so I kind of zoned out for a lot of it. I didn't really there was there wasn't really much to say for it for me really. I think Harris has sort of been is painting himself more as yes, I'm a serious wrestler again. Um, but I still think like he's still kind of doing the whole dressed as, in the Vince fight year, isn't he?
Yep.
Which I don't love. So yeah, it's yeah, not a lot to say about this one. I think Mudo taking the doing the job in his own state is a bit harsh. I would have thought maybe you could have had him go over Anil Marek, maybe, and that might have been a nicer thing for him. But we can't have everything, can we?
Let's see what leads. I mean, I know they had that mini feud on with Shotgun 2020 stuff, or when Norman had a shotgun belt, but it is what it is. But no, the early wheel of wrestling, sorry. Moving on, we had Only Friends and their new funky theme music beating Nick Shrine and Ilya Bloom. I think this is one, again, when you see, all due respect, when you see Shrine and Bloom on the other side, they're probably not going to win, especially when it's against the Only Friends. But it's a decent match to get the Only Friends back, on board. And, base is being parlayed into, it's being parlayed into them trying to go for the tag titles. We've got a match for the Arrows in Hamburg, I think, but it's non-title, so we're being smart and not doing hey, we've won a match against two trainees, we won a title shot, they're not building them up. But first off, what do you think of the new music? Does it fit in the psychedelic zebras and the match itself?
The new music's funny. I wish we could play a bit of it, to be honest. I thought it sounded a bit like 90s Sega racing game music. All I could think of was from Daytona, USA, Sky High, if you ever...
Yes, I know exactly what
yeah,
you mean.
That's what I could think of. And what was it? Magical Cities of... What's the one from Outrun? I can think of the tune, but...
God, yeah.
Them sort of ones, and Sega, the ones from Sega Rally Championship, them sort of ones. I can think of all of those sort of ones, and I think, oh, that sounded exactly like that. That's kind of my
result
thoughts
of Dennis Birkendahl scouring the Warner Chappelle music library, and
you found it, haven't you?
Yeah, and apparently, so I know somebody else has found a similar one, and I don't know if it's like chicken and the egg. The one that's actually in the Warner library, I guess, and I know you can search. There's a warnerchappelle.com. You can search by this and stream it yourself. So the song itself is called Starlight, the main one, with a fair amount cut off. But yeah, Vince Peeman and Raphael Lott, Starlight. It's on there if you search for. Well, if you just search for Starlight, you'll find it. But yeah, very 70s, I'd say, but it fits them still somehow.
Yeah, it's a bit 90s, I thought, but yeah.
I could see it, maybe 90s idea of the 70s.
The 90s disco revival.
But so only Friends still pushing on. The zebra ears and tails still being part of the gimmick, which not too sure about that, but
it's the
if
first
it works, it
furry
works.
team we've had from WXW for a while, isn't it?
Where's CP Monk when you need him?
Yeah, they're like furry, aren't they?
Yeah, whatever floats your boat. Then moving on, Axel Tischer beating Peter Tahani just over 15 minutes. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but still pretty damn good. Match put Tischer 2-0 up, but obviously with the injuries, means Peter Tahani's going to have to win 3 in a row when we set this back up. And I think maybe break could be the thing. It gives him a new wrinkle as well. If match 3 is Tischer's first match back, well, you've got the easy out. And now you're doing Tischer proving himself and Tihani as well. So just have to see, if when Tischer comes back and what Tihani does in the time off. You'd think he'd build up a few wins and not do a losing streak. Get himself sharpened for the Axeman again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we have a shortcut this year, that's an ideal place to have Axeman maybe come back, isn't it? You have him come out there, and yeah, I thought this match was really, really good. I think it was there was the whole thing. It was like, is Tischer now finally giving him a bit of respect as an opponent? And then obviously he finishes Tihani off and then lifts the arm and then gives him the other. He had him the horrible slam, isn't it? And then he
was it? Hiroki goes from New Japan News. Yeah, it's like the suplex. and it ends in a rock bottom kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a horrible slam, I think it's called, and then he obviously picks up his arm on two, and then goes and gives him sort of the big not pile driver, power bomb, then that's the 1-2-3. So that's that was kind of a good thing. So yeah, it was even though there was sort of suggesting that he might have got some respect for him. No, there's still no respect for him, and then unfortunately it's not going to be continuing for a while. So it's I'd like to see. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Although I kind of wonder if the heat's maybe gone out of it now he's got the injury.
Yeah, we'll see. I think again we don't know, but it seemed like when he announced match 5, if needed, it would have gone the distance.
Oh yeah,
I
Handstand
don't.
was going to go the distance. Yeah.
I don't know if you can. Again, this may not. Obviously, don't know how. I mean, he's only just had a surgery, so obviously the recovery timetable is still open ended. If you can stretch it that far, do you make the
I think you get it.
decide over Tag Festival?
Yeah, I think you have to now. Because if he's not back until what is it? Is it June, July? They reckon.
I think they said late summer, so I would say like late July.
Yeah, so June, July. So then you've got something like
Return a shortcut.
You've got a return at shortcut, but I don't necessarily think you have a. That's a. I don't necessarily think that's a. What do you call it?
No, so bring him back during the Rumble, have him eliminate Tahani. Okay, it revives
so
the rivalry. Doesn't count as a win.
You have him at the driver. Well, I think you either have him coming back at driver champions, although that might be a bit early. After that, you've got Brayman, and then you go probably Tagfest, don't you? So shortcut, Brayman, Tagfest. I think that's probably.
Obviously, shortcut hasn't been announced, but you've got obviously London at the end of the month. Driver Champions, June 16th, Frankfurt for Wheel of Wrestling in start of July. There's nothing after July 9th until Bremen on the 25th of August. Then Salzgitter a week later. Then you're looking. Yeah, so there's obviously a few gaps. And again, they don't usually announce more than one Oberhausen show up front. So you'd fully. Oh, yes, I do know they have got Fan and Driver Champions back to back, but Fan wasn't meant to be in Oberhausen. Yeah. I do suspect will be shortcut, whether that's in late July or early August. We'll see how they want to take the summer break this year, but yeah, at least based on the label and right now, I would say shortcut is the obvious return point. Kind of almost. I'm not saying nobody wins, but kind of like if Carsten Beck a few years back, comes back from intro retirement back then, and starts would have started something off hard. Unfortunately, life not. Another way it did, but so Axeman 2 up. We'll be waiting a while for match 3. Next up, we had Lawrence Roman and Maggot going to time limit draw, 15 minutes for the shotgun belt. So we're going to do a rematch in Hamburg, but again, not even knowing the result. I don't feel they hammer home normally, 15-minute time limits for the shotgun belt. And when they said in the intro and then in commentary, it was like, yeah, you're doing a draw. Like you're saying it too often.
Yeah.
From barely mentioning it apart from a tick on the bottom corner to 15-minute time. Oh, you've got 15 minutes. Well, I mean, I thought the match itself was fine. I mean, we're still doing the Lawrence Roman, trying to cut corners, which is an amboss. That's his whole shtick. I don't think they gave away too much, and I think with Hamburg, I don't think Maggot wins it back there. I think this is where I don't know if you add somebody new to Amboss or if this is where Dreisker come. I don't know where Dreisker is in his recovery route. I know visibly he's healed up. Do you pivot from this to Maggot and Dreisker for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think that could be something they could do, and say even if it's sort of a summer feud and then something different in September, we don't know. One thing I wanted to bring up about the shotgun title is something I hadn't heard before, and it was said during the thing was apparently the purse for the winner goes up every defense. It was multiplied by every defense.
So
that's not something I'd ever heard before.
When they started the shotgun title lottery, so I'm gonna again quickly wander over to cage match so I get the dates right. But when they won it, when Norman Harris won it,
yeah.
So this is when we did him against Metahan before he bugged off to NXT UK. They were doing the whole gimmick with Norman I would say not one to defend it, but it was like we changed the rules because I think Metahan had the title
So long.
for so long, and they brought in it's a random lottery. You had the whole thing, where there's a lot of lotteries before, sorry, because Norman kept begging for the title shots. Remember right, and the whole gimmick was, you had your FIFA showing up, and the winner got money if they defended. But I don't think it ever went down. Obviously, wouldn't. But it was like you said, it was so much for turning up, but if you win, you get more, and the longer you hold, the more goes up. But yeah, that was the wrinkle that hadn't been mentioned for a long while.
Yeah, it was.
That's,
It's.
that's why Prince Ahura, sorry, that's why Prince Ahura, say, did what he did when he, beat, be delusional at the time Norman Harris, because Norman, was scared he was going to lose his payday.
Yeah, it was. It was very interesting. It was. It was a. It was an element of which I hadn't been hammered down so much in the past, and I think because it hadn't been hammered down, I'd completely forgotten about it. So it was just that was a thing. It was a nice reminder, really. I hadn't heard of that. I hadn't thought of that for a long time.
I think it's definitely something they could probably, push more into storyline, but just not. I would say as obvious, but just not have it so front and center. But Christ, especially against someone new, it's like, oh, he's new. He's never had the money of a success. Let it go to his head.
Yeah,
Visibly.
you have him turn up and gradually, like with more, you get Gullias with the belt or something, and then he turns up and he's got after a month he's got an Armani suit on or something like that. turns up with a bloody Mercedes or something.
Diamond encrusted singlet.
That's what
That could work. Don't knock it. Speaking of flashy and all that, Ava Everett beat Baby Allison to win the women's title. So we think we kind of predicted this. Ava was the last weekend of her US tour, so she's gone back to the States for the belt. She is going to be defending the belt stateside, kind of like the shotgun belt was years ago.
Yeah.
So far we've got, and I don't know if it's promotion or whether it's title match. She's facing Shannon Lavangi tonight, promotion who don't put their names on the graphic, so you miss your plug. Little Mean Kathleen's got a non-title match on Sunday for a company called Live Pro Wrestling, generic as it comes. But the first event is against Becca for Pro Wrestling Grind on May 26th. So I think CZW they definitely have Grind. I think they have Live Pro Wrestling at some point. So if you want to catch the WXW belt away from Germany, two of us be on IWTV, and I guess maybe WXW will have some stuff on the YouTube to on WXW now, like we did, back when the Shotgun Belt had the long tour of the States. But yeah, it was a pretty decent match, and I think taking the title out of the scene in Germany means you can do a few storylines, and it's not always be one. Your one women's match a show is to be a title match, like what Rev Pro had for such a long time with the Ginny division.
Yeah. I think it's important, and maybe it's obviously shown that Ava's trusted enough to take that and represent them well, globally. It's maybe an opportunity for them to maybe go, well, let Ava go and sniff out some people, people who she can work with, and I'm not going to pretend to know Shannon Lavangi or Lil Mean Kathleen, but if they work well together, then you kind of think, well, stick them in tag. It's not Tag Fest. Stick them in Femme Fatale.
Yeah. I know, I forget who it was on Twitter was famous, but at least as far as like women's wrestling, feels a lot stronger in like northeast of the states, and we've got promotion like Beyond, Grind, Love comes with use. Yeah, it's the same names, but it's not because we're getting a lot of reps. There's some degree of progression, for one better word there. Yeah, it's good scouting ground at absolute worst. I don't think Ava will be losing the belt in the States, but
that would be a surprise,
weirder things have happened. But I definitely do see few defense maybe rivalry Matt Finch off at Femme Fatale next in September. So worth keeping an eye on. We'll keep tabs on whatever defenses do make tape.
we need a jingle for Ava Watch.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to find something that's not quite as sparkly as her direct music we absolutely can't play.
Yeah, you'll have to find something.
I'll get on to look at royaltyfreemusic.com, wherever it is. And finally, main event, House of Hungary beat the French Adors to retain the tag titles. 16 minutes was, thought it ended a little bit too sudden. You had, it was back and forth then. It was a misdive from Igel Blanc, left Senza Volto prone for the Alabama Slam, the kick to the back was what finished him. But the main thing after the match was Robert Dreisker ripping off Senza's mask, I guess, because Robert's the only guy who can wear a mask in WXW right now. Amboss went to the back. Igel offered the mask back to Senza Volto, but Senza rolled away, went back, didn't want it. And I think it was a promo afterwards from Igel. It was like, oh, this isn't Joseph. There's tweets from Senza. The day the show dropped. They kind of, read like he was saying goodbye. And the general reading I've got is, obviously, if you look at the cage match, it gives the game away, but he's been working under an alter ego, Joseph Hennick Jr. in France and increasingly other places. The fact that Igel Blanc said, this isn't Joseph, I think that's kind of telling you that's where we're going.
Yeah.
You're getting the more twisted side of the guy we knew as Senza Volto.
Yeah, I think the French Adors only had so far, and I think I thought they was going to be turning on each other in the summer last year because they kept on going off against each other.
For friendly fire stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's I think in that sense, it makes sense for him to split up, I suppose, really, isn't it? Have Joseph Fenech come through, and he can obviously work well against against all the high flyers, but it's good to have a baddie high flyer, should we say, if that's what they go for.
I mean, the last Fight for Power show he was part of, and he's done a few for APC that's made tape, and it's not jarring, it fits him like a glove. So yeah, all for whatever this is going to turn out like in WXW. I mean, you think, Senza only joined WXW during the pandemic. Okay, yeah, that's 3 years at this point, which time is a weird construct these days, but it feels like he's been in WXW for ages, but really 3 years, or I guess 18 months in front of fans. He's pretty much run the gamut there. From brought in on the closed show tapings to tag champion. I guess now a singles run, or could be plugging gaps we've seen pop up with people moving on.
Yeah, he's a WXW guy now, isn't he? I think you've got to reinvent yourself. We've seen sort of unmaskings in other promotions around the world at all levels, and sometimes it's the shot in the arm that the person needs, isn't it? So, yeah, good luck to him.
So that was True Colours. Obviously, next up we have got Wheel of Wrestling the 30th time in Market in Hamburg.
This weekend.
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Depending when you listen to it, we record on Friday night if you're listening after the Bank Holiday weekend in the UK this weekend. But Saturday, May 12th, rejigged card for reasons we've talked about. Shikahiro Irie against Peach Tahani, non-title. Baby Allison against Calypso, decidedly not for the title because Baby Allison ain't the champ anymore. Another non-title match, Only Friends against the House of Hungary, as we spoke of. Tristan Archer taking on Kohai Kinoshita. There's some we skipped over. Next weekend, Kohai Kinoshita, who has worked for several promotions in Japan, I guess. Irie recommendation coming in.
He's the Dove Pro champion, which is the same promotion that Naoki Tanizaki was a champion of when he did his short tour of Britain back then.
Yeah, wrestling the baseball jersey. I remember him and Martin Kirby cockpit years ago. Yeah, Kenosha, yes, if I was me typing up his cage match, I'll say jobbing around as far as works in multiple promotions, not he loses a lot.
He's freelance, isn't he?
Freelance. So, I mean, he says, WrestleNomics and Mookie Garner post on Twitter the whole, look at these guys they work. And it's usually Irie, Abe, and Speedball. Like, look at these guys they work all these different promotions. Like, yeah, because if you're in Japan, if you're not signed to a promotion, you have to work all these companies, or you're not full time. But like, Kinoshita's worked. It was Big Japan early this week. Merry Pro. I'm not even going to pretend I know the names of these companies. The one that jumps out like a sore thumb, and Met, if you're listening, I just want to say this acronym, at the Hamburg show. Kinoshita worked with a guy called Gunzo against Jade and Rising Kid on the 20th anniversary Nightmare of April Fool's show for the Fighting Ultimate Crazy Kings in front of 30 people. And yeah, that acronym, I bet you, is not going to be spoken or even spelled out on WXW programming. Intentionally, at least. Fuck, 20th
Yes,
anniversary
there's
Nightmare of
the
April Fool. Japan, you name your promotions really weirdly. I mean, you've got 666, 01. Yeah, I'm looking now. Since January 1st, he's had 35 matches.
yeah. Well, he's a
No,
freelancer, isn't he?
yeah, there's a lot. The same as a lot of people wouldn't have that in a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so worth keeping an eye out on anyway. He's got Tristan Arch in Hamburg next week. And then the last thing announced, the Himmelschloss with Lavaniel. And what I would say is, the loss of Mike D, that Marktal card, loses a lot. In fact, you've now got
Yeah.
2 non-title matches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for a 30th anniversary, it's lost Mike D, it's lost Tisha. It's very light, isn't it?
see what the Lavaniel thing is, but yeah, I think Lavaniel doing a talking segment. It's obviously going to spring to a match, you'd hope, but then May 13th, they're back at the Alte Kesselschmiede in Papenburg. That's the lovely venue they ran last year. This isn't going to make tape, sadly. Irie against Lawrence Roman, non-title outing, announced that. Anil Mauk against Kanoshta. Sorry, Anil, just count the number of lights this time. And Calypso, Tristan Archer against Baby Allison and Maggot in a mixed tag match, announced for that. Move on a week, we've got the WXW Wrestling Live Academy for Turbine Hall in Oberhausen, matinee show. Before Fan 2023, we've got Shigehiro Irie defending the Unified World Wrestling title against Michael Oku. Exactly what we predicted. When Oku was announced for his debut, he's going straight into a title match. Jörn Simmons against Norman Harras, Maria Della Rosa against Calypso, and Peter Tahani against returning LJ Cleary, which they're definitely bringing in some names that aren't normally on these shows. I guess that's what WXW kind of uses these shows for, is scouting a bit further and wider and shaking the frost a little bit.
Yeah, LJ. I mean, yeah, LJ's a bit of a left field one, isn't it?
He did
Was
the
he did the
wildcard
wild
show.
card, didn't he? Yeah. So I don't know whether there's an element of, oh, come on, we'll give you a shot. It's Would he have been on the card anyway? That's the question. Is
Well,
he a
they hadn't
last?
announced the whole thing, but
Yeah,
we'll see what's padded out there. Then a week after that, yeah, we've got 3 big shows in as many weeks. So I think our next episode is probably going to be June when the dust has settled. But May 27th, We Love Wrestling Live in London. That's the Tufnell Park Dome. You've got Maggot against Leighton Buzzard, Michael Oku against Paige Tahani, Maria Della Rosa against Charlie Morgan, and Gary J against Lawrence Roman. Apparently, that'll be for shotgun belt if Lawrence is still champion. There's another left field edition. I know Gary J, he's over on a brief tour from the States, but some really unexpected names being thrown on these cards, for the better as well.
yeah. It's not screaming WXW to me personally, but yeah. I think arrows are announced for it, aren't they?
They're on the poster, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few other people sort of still need to be announced for it. There's plenty of time to wangle it, because I think obviously Fisher probably would have been someone who would they flying over. So there's probably a spare ticket there now.
The poster's gone, but we also got Irie, House of Hungry, Lawrence Roman, well, that Gary J thing kind of gave it away, and LSG as well. So you're probably looking, House of Hungry, maybe against the Greedy Souls again. I mean, that was good at Rev Pro, so why not if you haven't, can't find out there. Irie, I really don't know at this point.
I mean, Irie LSG possibly works. To be honest,
maybe, and then round that will give you what, 5-6 matches.
yeah, and then trainees there. they'll probably take one or two of the trainees over. So yeah,
Yep.
there's plenty of options there, I think, still.
That's in 3 weeks' time. Then Driver Champions June 17th in Turbine Hall. Mike D against Uye rescheduled from Hamburg. June 18th for double tapings for Fight Forever at the Fight Club in Gelsenkirchen. Then July 8th for Wheel of Wrestling at the Batch Cup in Frankfurt. And then, I think, didn't we say July 9th in Erfurt? Then potentially that's where the Summer Pause comes in and where the shortcut for top, whether that's going to be starting or ending it. Guess we'll find out after maybe Fand might throw that tidbit in.
Yeah, because you've got to wait until the next Oberhausen show gets announced, don't they?
But so yes, I mean there's a heck of a lot going on. Some weirdness of the upcoming cards for obvious reasons. But yeah, after what's felt like a bit of a lull since Carrot, ain't no stopping the next few weeks. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, busy few weeks and plenty to watch, plenty to digest, and running on the road to we're coming up to Fan. Hopefully, get a nice announcement at Fan, and then listen, we're not under pressure. Progress have only got half a field, so maybe they should start.
Not even that.
working on that.
Not even that. But and that's in 3 weeks. Yeah, get a move on, lads. But yeah, so I guess that's heck of a packed episode. We'll probably be back in June after Hamburg, Fan, and London has happened and dropped, unless anything massive takes place in between. But Mike, anything to plug? Guess you're obviously you've qualified for playoffs. Hoping May 27th you'll be at least Wembley, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of frustrating. I was kind of hoping Luke was going to go up automatically. It was looking close for a while. It was possible, but alas, not likely to happen. So I'm plugging the fact that Luton need to win in 90 minutes and no extra time, no injuries, and then I could run across town.
For me, it's not quite as clear cut. Obviously, final game of the season Monday. As it stands, still outside the playoffs, and I think barring, unless there's only 2 spots left. So if we do make the playoffs, it's 50-50. We're facing you in the semis, which that's going to go well. I think I think it stands, not chance we're going to make the finals if we do get there. But that would be fun, both of us missing to London because we're stuck at Wembley in a penalty shootout. That would be a freaking irony, to say the least.
The Auf Die Fresse derby. It's
and then extra time, penalties, delay, start, tube strike. Will all happen if that's the case. But anyway, Mike can catch you on pretty much every at Mike Kilby.
Yeah, I'm not on any of them new ones yet. I'm still on Twitter.
I'm still waiting for Blue Sky invite. I don't know if that's coming.
I don't care about Blue Sky. I got told off for joining that other one. What was not Mastodon? What was the other one?
Oh, Hive.
Yeah, I got told off for joining that one because apparently I shouldn't have because it stole all my data or something. So
yeah. There's I don't know if I'm not going to say because I don't really fancy being sued. There's some stuff that at least read about it looked dodgy, but yeah.
Don't sue me either. I just don't know.
At Auf Die Fresse Pod, we're going to try and build that account up. At Big Bag Body Drops Reviews, which I'm now having to tweet out manually. Thanks, Elon, breaking all the APIs. At Ian Wrestling, want to follow me personally for whatever reason, but yep. At the Groundhoppers Guide, for the old Groundhoppers Guide stuff, and that Strong BJ Astronauts match we spoke of earlier. But yes, that will do us for probably this month, depending unless something breaks. We shall see you in June, worst case. And if you've not got your reasonable ticket or see you to XW, we shall see you then. If not, cheers.
Cheers.